What is going on? All right, continuing on, basic training, right? When we first got there. All right, so we left reception, got on the bus with all our duffel bags, got to our company, Echo 161. Don't remember which, I think it was first BCT down in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, okay? 92 Golf, that was my MOS. And this was September. Let's see, we were at reception for a week. I got there, so let's say around about the 20th of September, 2008. Probably earlier than that, actually. Maybe like the 15th, 16th, something like that. No, 14th. Was it the 14th? It had to have been. No. I don't even remember the day. Ignore all my whatevers. Okay, so this is very important. Don't fall asleep. For those of you thinking to go to BCT, or for those of you that have been to basic combat training, wow. Yeah, do not fall asleep because your life will become a living hell. And for those of you that know, there were some people that would do the falling asleep thing. And then, whew, just don't do that. Okay, but actually moving on. So we get off the bus and yikes, Drill Sergeant Chadwick just, like, he was already kind of intense, but there was a whole nother level the moment that we got to our company. So our bus is lined up right outside the company. He said, get the hell off my bus. We're all scrambling, right? Well, he said 5 seconds or however long. No way in hell could we get off the bus, get all of our bags, and get formed up in the appropriate amount of time. So the moment that we got off the bus, we're met with instant smoke session. Like we're doing the front lean arrest really quick. For those who don't know what the front lean arrest is, that is the push-up position. So beating our face, right? So eating dirt. So and this was right at the same time that chow started. Now the chow hall for us was right like next to our company. It wasn't even very far. It was like the company because the company and the barracks was all one building, and so there was 3 floors. First floor was for training and company, and then the second floor was females, third floor was males. And yeah, we did have quite a bit of females in our unit, but obviously, well, there was more males than females, but anyway, I digress. So we finally we get smoked, we get formed up, and then we get sent off to go to chow. And I remember the very first thing that I had, it was fish. I think they were serving pollock that night, if I remember correctly. But anyway, it was fish is what we had. And you just kind of go through the line, and it's a defect. So of course there's like sides, salad bar, and stuff like that. But the way that it was for us, we weren't allowed to go to the salad bar for anything. We weren't allowed like hot sauce or any of that. Like if whatever they put on our plate, the meat, starch, vegetable, that was it. We weren't allowed anything else. And this kind of goes back to my argument before that I guess when it came to food, it was a little fucked up. Totally agree with the fact that we shouldn't have like sweets, like candies, donuts, cakes, snakes, whatever, or cakes, whatever. We shouldn't have any of that stuff because, you know, we're trying to build our bodies up. We need to be eating good stuff. But the fact that we can go to the salad bar and get, you know, any additional salad with our meal, because, you know, if you were in the military, you would go to the DFAC, you would get your meat, starch, and vegetable, but then you'd go to the salad bar, you get your extras, right? And it was usually like some sort of bread product. They would have dessert there and this, that, and the other. But obviously with salad, we weren't even allowed that. We went in, got exactly whatever they gave us, and then we went and sat down. And that's kind of how it was for the entire time that I was in. We didn't get any additional goodness. They considered it extra, and it was not necessary. And it was all about getting people in, getting people out. We don't have time to go to the salad bar. And, you know, it was in and out, in and out, in and out. And if you were the last person in there, it really kind of sucked because, you know, you had to wolf down your food because, you know, they wanted people rotating in a timely fashion because they had to leave at least 2 people on the outside per platoon to guard over weapons, which we weren't concerned with at that point because we just got to our company, didn't have our weapons yet. So I don't know if it was, I don't think it was that night. It was within the next day or so, we went to the armory and got our weapons, which the armory wasn't very far away either. So, you know, we ate chow, we got out and, you know, did some formations, got smoked even more. And that's what it was. Like the first week, we did a lot of like introduction and stuff. We met the company commander, who was this Indian dude. I can't remember his name. We met the first sergeant, who was hardly ever around. He'd be around for PT. He was one of those PT studs. So he was always there for PT. But other than that, we hardly ever saw the first sergeant. Which, you're hardly ever going to see your first sergeant anyway, outside of PT. So why did I even mention that? Anyway, our company commander, though, I thought that he was just different because when you're enlisted, enlisted operates one way, officers operate a different way. Even the demeanor that they give is very different. Like, for someone that has always been an officer in the military, their demeanor is one way. For someone that went green to gold, that was enlisted, that got an education, got their master's degree or whatever, and then transferred over from enlisted to an officer, totally different demeanor. There's a certain mindset that comes with enlisted personnel where there's a certain a hardness to their core. I'm not saying like, oh my God, they're so mean. No, it's just like their demeanor is very, very different, a lot more stern, a lot more stoic. Whereas most officers that just kind of came in as an officer, there's a little bit too gung-ho, and it's like, oh yeah, there's enlisted people here. Hey, how you guys doing? What's going on? All right, I'm gonna go back to my office for the rest of the day. Fuck off, bye. Whereas, green to gold officers were like, hey, how you Joes doing, huh? Yeah? Why are my PT scores down, huh? Hey, first sergeant, you need to get on this. They'd be a little bit more involved because they knew what it was like to be enlisted. Wow, I went way too long on that particular topic. So the first week we're doing a lot of introductions. We get our weapons. Man, let me tell you, man. So this is kind of about red phase. So there's 3 different phases in BCT. You have red, blue, and white. In order to get out of red phase and into blue phase, everyone in the company needs to qualify their weapons. So the entire premise of red phase is we're constantly working out, constantly getting smoked, constantly doing PT, and we're learning about our weapons. We're learning not just about, we had M16s, but you also have to learn about the RM4s and the 249 Bravo, the weapons that we're most likely going to be using a lot. And then Army Creed, which they expected us to know before we even got there, which your recruiter, should be telling you the Army Creed and the Army song, the Soldier's Creed. I'm sorry, the Soldier's Creed. I can barely even remember it. It's been so long. I haven't had to say it in a long time. I remember the Army song and I remember the 10th Mountain Division song. Do not remember the 2ID song, even though we had to sing it every fucking morning when I was in Korea. But didn't care about 2IDs, so never bothered to actually retain it. I was always that guy in formation that was wait, first in France, or I don't even know. Yeah, that's how little I cared about 2ID. Anyway, so we did a lot. We did a lot of PT the first couple weeks. All of basic, yeah. But man, I was skinny, I was scrawny in high school. So going from skinny, scrawny, never really working out to working out constantly all the time, was crazy on me. And stamps was a big thing because one of the few things that we were allowed to have was paper and envelopes and stamps, so we could send letters back home. And it took probably, I think, a good week and a half, 2 weeks before the mail started coming in. I think it was almost a month before I got my first letter. As soon as I was able to start mailing stuff, I was constantly writing letters back home. And my mom said that she saved some copies. She has my letters saved. I haven't seen them. But apparently my mindset back then was like, oh, they're breaking me down, from the way that she describes it. But, I remember taking it in stride. Yeah, it was a shit situation, but for the most part, it's like, hey, this is what I want to do with my life for the time being. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do with it. The problem that we had in basic training, that I had in basic training, was other people. Because very early on in the military, they instill, if one person screws up, everyone screws up. Which, as I've explained before, it's outside of basic and AIT. We're now in our career, we're now in our job. Why are we still being treated like children? And that goes for everyone. You'll have E6s and E7s that share that same mentality. Why are we being treated like children all the time? Or especially for NCOs, why do I have to treat my Joes like children? It's ridiculous. But it was what it was. You had a lot of people that just did not lose the civilian mindset, is that, you know, they challenged authority way too often, more so than was even necessary or warranted. But there were some times where, you know, things would get a little stressful and people just couldn't bite their tongues for like 5 minutes, wanting to back talk, this, that, and the other. And if one person screws up, everybody screws up. So Red Phase was all about breaking us down the best that they could, and that was physically. So physical fitness was the torture of choice, as it were, back then, as it was. And then we had fire guard at the same time, and that was the whole time through basic. You would have there had to be 2 people on the set on each floor that had to basically pull fire guard, which is pull watch the whole night. So they would get in their full battle rattle. They didn't have IOTVs, they had something else. God, I can't remember the acronyms, but if I remember, the IOTV is the one with the pull cord, but they had the one without the pull cord, just the old school vest. Your body armor, basically, where your plates go and shit. So they get in full battle rattle, and they would do fire guard for the night. And man, let me tell you, dude, dress right dress. That was #1 for everyone, but especially Drill Sergeant Chadwick. There was a time in Red Phase where we went to chow in the morning right after PT. And just to throw this out there, for our running group, I was in A running group because I ran really fast. That was actually the best thing I did in my PT score, was running. That's quick. But I killed it on the sit-ups. I always did over 100 on the sit-ups. I did really good on the run. I think, what was it? My best was 14:20, which there are people that can run there are people getting like 13s and stuff. Like, that's great. But even still, I did really good on the runs. Talk shit all you want, please, because I know 14:20 is not the best PT score. It's for a run, it's not, but it's what I did on average. God, where was I? I'm so stuck on this whole PT thing because that's what we did so much in Red Phase. Qualification, like shooting and stuff, was fun, but basic, as with all of the Army, it's a hurry up and wait game. Like, the best time that we probably had in Red Phase was going to the range, because that we could just sit. Couldn't be caught sleeping, but the fact that we could sit and wait for our turn to go up and fire, man, no problem. And shooting was one of my favorite things. It came second nature to me, even though I never shot before then. I never fired a weapon before the Army, and it just kind of came easy. The thing is, it's back then and even now, man, there's a night and day difference shooting with glasses on and shooting with contacts. I would rather shoot with contacts well, I'm not wearing contacts now, obviously, but it's just like, just having this in front of your face just obscures it just a little. You can't get I don't know, it's a comfort thing. Dress right dress. Drill Sergeant Chadwick, this one morning, we get done with PT. We go to chow, and we come back. Because he had told us, I'm going to do a little barrack inspection while you guys are gone. And then he came back, and he's like, well, your guys' stuff was not dressed right dressed, so I'm not going to say whose fault it was, but I went through, and not everything was perfect. And we were so pissed off, because the night before, because we knew that he was going to do this inspection, because he let us know. He's like, I'm going to give you guys fair warning. Everything has to match accordingly perfectly. And he destroyed the barracks for us. Like, he just I'm talking, he pulled down lockers. Oh, one person had a locker undone. So that was one thing that was really kind of messed up. So all of our shit just came undone everywhere. But on top of that, like, all of our boots, which had to be dressed right dress, our boots, our PT shoes, which we had on at the time, our Class A shoes, our dress shoes, and there were certain things that had to be up on the top of our locker. And so everything on this side of the room has to match everything on this side of the room. Everything in this room over here has to match this side of the room over here. And the way he described it has to be mirrored. So if we had our boots on one end of the room right here, it would be a direct reflection on the other side of the room. That's not what he wanted. If it's on the left side here, when I turn over here, it needs to be on the left side over here. So that was the actual reason why he destroyed everything. Now, when I say he destroyed everything, I mean he took all of our boots, and took them all into the middle, took all the with strings from them, tied all of our boots together. So when we got up there, all of our combat boots, or just our boots, were just in this giant ball where all the shoelaces were just tied in together. And thankfully, I wrote my last 4 on the tongue, so I knew exactly which ones were mine, and a lot of other people did the same thing. Some people didn't, so some people were all mixed up on the shoes and stuff. We had open showers, so we just had to, when it was personal hygiene time and we had to go shower, man, that was pretty uncomfortable. But you kind of just force yourself into it. It's like, well, I have to shower, so I don't have an option. There's no option for privacy whatsoever. I'm just going to go in here and do it. And there was only one person that made it uncomfortable because they were not straight, let's just say. So this person would like lather their body up and look at other people and start touching parts of themselves, and it made us a lot of us really uncomfortable. So people made complaints, and that person ended up getting kicked out for that reason. There was actually a few people. Now I came back in, when I joined the Army, it was back when you could only be straight and no other way. So because of that, at the time of which I enlisted, there in BCT, basic combat training, there was a slew of people that were kicked out because it came to light that they felt one way or another about the same gender. So yeah, so that obviously since then that's not the case anymore, but back then it was. So not just males, there was females too that were caught. Well, with the females though, they were actually caught. Like they were ballsy with it. The males, it was usually because of complaints and stuff like that. Up to the higher ups. Man, though, like PT and weapons, that's pretty much all of what Red Phase was just constantly honing and learning about dealing with weapons, keeping them maintained and cleaned. And, it was an event whenever we would go clean our weapons. And I remember there was one day where Drill Sergeant Chadwick, he was super chill. We're sitting in the training room, which there was so many times that we would go in there. Third platoon. So we would be in the training room. This one day we were in the training room. We were cleaning weapons after a long day at the range. And we got back a little early, so we were hoping to clean everything up and get going, right? Well, here's what happened. Drill Sergeant Chadwick, just something would trigger him and he would just go off. But this moment in time, he was sitting at the desk, legs kicked up, just chilling, talking with us. We were asking questions about, what it's like being in the military, because he was in the Marines before he transitioned to Army. And we were all, a lot of us were young, so we all had questions. And he was like shooting the shit with us. For a moment in time, it felt like this whole big mean Army thing was not a thing. He was just talking to us as people, with the same levels of respect that we would have to give for him being our drill sergeant. So in the middle of him talking stories, Drill Sergeant Adam comes in and says, "Oh, Drill Sergeant Chadwick, we need you for this thing that we have to do." And as soon as like he had to do some bureaucratic fucking paperwork, he just got pissed. He's like, "What? I'm trying to fucking train soldiers here. What the fuck is this horse shit?" And then he would fucking take it out on us. So he had to go up to the front desk, the CQ desk, and this is a problem that I ran into in this particular scenario. So we get our battle buddies and we go down to sign this fucking form or whatever, and we go down there and we come back to our to cleaning our weapons and stuff. So when my name was called up, I put my shit together, and there was only 3 of us left. So all 3 of us, because we all needed battle buddies, and I couldn't go down there without one, because if you were seen without a battle buddy, all hell would break loose. So I went down there with these 2 other guys. We signed our little thing, and then we're gonna, head back. And I signed my thing. The first 2 guys who were in front of me signed theirs. I went up, signed mine, and I looked back, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And Drill Sergeant Chadwick looked up from his desk, and he's like, "Where's your battle buddies?" Because he knew that there was 2 other guys with me, and he understood the logic of the 3 of us coming down. And he was like, "Well, guess your battle buddies got you killed. Go ahead and lay down." And he was pissed, but in that instance, that scenario, it's kind of like, damn, man, those guys forgot about you. That fucking sucks. Oh, well, lay down. So I laid down on the ground, And Drill Sergeant Chowick left me at the CQ desk, and he walked back into the room, started smoking the shit out of fucking everybody. He's like, y'all motherfuckers missing something? Y'all missing something? And he was just like grilling them for like 5-10 minutes. And then they're like, oh, great, where the fuck's Montgomery? Oh, y'all want to blame Montgomery? What the fuck did he do? Y'all the ones that fucking left him. And, you know, they're like, all right, go find him. So they got 2 people to come find me. And I was like, I don't know what they want. I'm dead. And so they had to pick me up. And then Drill Sergeant was like, all right, you got to bring him to safety. And they were bringing me back to the training room. He's like, oh, that's not safe. That's not safe at all. Why don't you take him up to the 3rd floor, go all the way back down the hall, come back down and come back that way. That's probably the safest route. So these 2 guys are carrying me down the hallway up the stairs. And as soon as they start getting me up the stairs, they start dropping me and shit. And they're like, hey, man, you just got to stand up and walk. We're not doing this. And I'm like, I'm not going to be caught up in it. And lo and behold, Drill Sergeant Chowick had already beat them up there and was in one of the doorways. And he's like, oh, y'all trying to make this shit easy? Yeah, make it 2 laps. And so he fucking followed us as we fucking did this thing. Because these guys had to do it twice. And the whole time I'm just, you think, oh, these guys are carrying me, so it's easy, it's no problem. Dude, hell no, man. I'm being carried up and down flights of stairs by 2 guys that, just like me, have been working out all day, and now they have to do all this extra. Hell no. Well, the rest of the platoon was out front getting smoked. And it's like, you know, then they wanted to fucking get mad at me for it. I remember one of these guys, his name was Cube. He got pissed off at me for it. And I'm like, how the fuck is this? I was like, dude, man, how is this my problem? Okay, I went up. We all went up together as a team and shit. The rest of my team fucking left me at the CQ desk. What do you think was going to happen? All right? No, I'm not taking this on. That's on you guys. So, but yeah, it was things like that happened all the time. It'd be one little thing, and Drill Sergeant Chowick would just, you know, I remember, last story for this video. It was another one of these good days, and then out of nowhere, Drill Sergeant Chowick just got fucking furious. And this was one time that it got so bad that the other drill sergeants had to pull him off of us, of smoking us. And this was, we went to grenade, practicing our grenades for the first time, and the only time we ever fucked with them. So we go to grenade training, and something pissed him off about it. I don't know if someone was lagging behind or someone was bitching, but someone pissed him off. So we're supposed to ruck march from where we're at with the grenades down to where we're going to end up sleeping for the night. So it was probably about 3 or 4 miles. So we're rucking down this road. And that's the thing. If we weren't in class doing training, if we weren't outside doing PT, we were ruck marching all the time, or shooting. We were always rucking everywhere we went. So when we were headed down to where we were going to stay for the night, Drill Sergeant Chowick, man, this dude, he was not happy. Something had broke in his head, worse than before. And there were several times where shit like this happened. But this particular incident, he was just furious, and he was rucking us down. And whenever we ruck anywhere, there's like approved routes that they take, especially in the wilderness of Fort Jackson. There's trails and shit, right? He got so pissed, he started taking us off like past the C wire. I think it's called C wire, the razor wire, whatever. Like he brushed that shit out of the way and made us hike around places that we weren't supposed to. And he had us out there for like an hour and a half just doing like weird figure eights in the woods and shit. And then some people, because it was already a long day, we already fucking rucked miles fucking earlier that day, and then doing this again, not saying that not everyone was lagging back, but we were all feeling it. But a lot of us were able to kind of keep up. But the whole time he was yelling and screaming at us, and it's like, it was just getting to the point, like, he wouldn't even let us stop to drink water. He just did not give a shit. It's like, you want to drink water, drink while you're walking. And I remember Drill Sergeant Adams, I don't think Skaman went off for training at that time, so he was off doing something else, but it was Drill Sergeant Adams and another drill sergeant were kind of pulling him off. Like, hey, you let these guys up for a while. And him being an E7, he's like, nope, ain't happening. So we kept rucking for a while until I think it was first sergeant. They was like, all right, I think they've had enough. You need to let them go. So then we stopped for the night. We still got in trouble. We still got yelled at after that. But a lot of the drill sergeants were like, yeah, something you got to relax with these guys. You know, smoke them and whatever, but like you're going to be a bit much. There was one time while we were there, there was this Command Sergeant Major, I think of brigade, Command Sergeant Major Watson, not our battalion Sergeant Major. That Sergeant Major Watson, he was very old school military, so he didn't care about smoking. But Command Sergeant Major Watson from brigade, he had a meeting with our company leadership because he didn't like the fact that we were getting smoked in the rain. And his argument was, well, what if the rainwater's polluted and these soldiers get sick? You can kind of start to notice the soft army filtering in. The army that kind of became while I was enlisted. So, oh man. After this meeting, remember Drill Sergeant Chadwick, Adams, and at this point Drill Sergeant Scammon was with us, and they asked us about it. It's like, do you guys think that, you know, getting smoked in the rain is such a horrible thing? And we're like, well, no, it's part of training. Like, we were all kind of, as much as we hated getting smoked, we were all in agreement with the fact that, well, getting smoked in the rain, we got a ruck in the rain, we do PT in the rain, what's the difference, you know? And that's even the people that didn't do PT on the regular. Like, we're talking about the people I mentioned before with the crutches, even they agreed, but who cares? They were in crutches the whole fucking time. Anyway, so I'll talk more about white phase next time. That's kind of a generalization for what red phase was like. It didn't get any more lax in white phase, but then we started doing combatives. So, yeah, I have a few good stories about that, and I'll probably touch on a more personal stuff with dealing from soldier to soldier, because that's another thing that we had to deal with, is that now that you've joined the military, you've noticed that you're dealing with people from different cultures, different walks of life all over the country that you would have never experienced from your hometown. And because of that, it's learning to deal and communicate with these people becomes very stressful. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm your oh so glorious and beloved MaceValor. Thank you guys for checking this out, and I will see you next time. Oh wait, I'm your oh so glorious beloved MaceValor, signing off.